everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I hope everyone is surrounded by love, peace, and happiness and prosperity and good health this evening on this Wednesday evening. And tonight's lecture or topic discussion, I don't want to say lecture, tonight's show is going to be about what is happening on the planet, like what's up on planet Earth. People ask that a lot. I even find myself asking that. It just is so much happening right now, and it's been happening for a few years, and it's everything is different and changing so rapidly, and it's leaving a lot of people feeling dazed and confused or just puzzled at all the rapid changes that are taking place. And things have been changing and progressing rapidly for the last few years. I would say a lot of the changes in that we see socially probably started, a few decades ago, maybe in the 90s, as like the precursor for what's going on today. But and then with the rapid earth changes, there's just so much happening, and it's happening so quickly, and it's forcing a lot of us to make changes to our lives, make changes to the way that we think, make changes to our lifestyles, even. And some of us have made little changes, and some of us have made big, dramatic changes. It just depends on, I guess, the circumstance. But nevertheless, change is on the horizon, family. And that's what a lot of us are doing. We're changing, we're growing, we're developing, we are growing in leaps and bounds spiritually. So you hear a lot of people talking about the great awakening that's taking place, that's been going on for several years now. It's not in the spiritual realm. Time is not judged the same way we do in the physical. So the awakening has been taking place for several years now, and it just looks different for different people. You hear the phrase stay woke, or stay grounded. And so that is what is really needed and essential at this time as we go through this great awakening process that's been happening. And what is the awakening? I did a series of videos a few years ago um, about the great awakening that's taking place, and it's awakening to higher levels or higher states of consciousness. That's what it means by the great awakening. We For thousands of years, humanity has been in a state of spiritual darkness where there was just a lot of upheaval on the planet, a lot of destruction, a lot of evil and wickedness, a lot of toxic behaviors, a lot of just terrible, destructive things have been going on the planet, to the planet, and to its people and other life forms. And this period of great spiritual darkness has been around for thousands of years. And now, fortunately, we are moving into a period of a totally different paradigm shift, if you will, a period of almost like a golden age, the new earth. It's been predicted by several different elders and a variety of different, and then that this time period would come. People have longed for it and waited for it for thousands of years, and shifting from that period of spiritual darkness to a time of spiritual enlightenment and peace, or this golden age in the new earth as we shift towards the new earth. So people have been longing for this for a very long time. People have predicted it, and it's finally happening. It's finally happening. So that's why today's title is It's Already Happening. People are looking for this big change to come, and the change is here. It's now, it's right now, and it's happening right in front of us. And we are in the midst of the change. And not only are we in the midst of the change, we are a part of the change. So the decisions that we're making and the things that we're doing is having an impact not only on ourselves and our own destiny, but also the destiny of the planet and others. So that is wonderful news to know that you can be a change maker and you can be a stakeholder in this new earth that is being birthed. Look at yourself as like a kind of like a spiritual midwife almost. You are bringing it in, you're ushering it in, you're the divine. So that's what we're going to be discussing. It's happening. So we've been waiting for something, and many of us can feel it. You can feel it in your spirit and in your heart that something big is coming or happening. You may have been feeling that for years now, and something is happening, and it's the states of higher consciousness, and we're waiting. Many of us are waiting for it, but it's here, it's happening now. If you look at your own self, you will see that you are in a much different space than where you were, let's say, 12 years ago. 2012, 2013 was a very different. Many of us had different outlooks than what we have on life now. So if we look back on where we were 10 years ago, or even 20 years ago, we'll see that many of us are in a much different space, a different mind frame. We may have adopted totally different lifestyles. We have different friends, different associates. We may be living in a completely different demographic, different location and everything has changed a lot for many of us, and some of us are going back with time instead of getting worse with time. And there's so much happening on the planet right now that we're observing. We're seeing things like multiple fires all over the planet. This has been going on for a few years. Every year the fire seasons on the West Coast and the Southwest gets worse. They say everybody each year they say this is the worst I've ever seen it. Then the following year they say the same thing. Flooding, all over the planet. It's a major issue. Lots of pollution and toxin. There's been oil spills and other types of toxic debris that has been unleashed into the atmosphere or into people's water supplies. Um, Solar flares, a rise in violent crime. I remember when I was growing up as a child, you very seldom heard about mass shootings. And when it did happen, it was such a shock to everyone. It was so startling, so disturbing. They would hold candlelight vigils. Now it's happening so frequently, it's almost like you don't even have a chance to mourn or to process when the events of one before another one happens, and it's just like just constant now almost. It's many of them are just, well, they are senseless losses of life and damage to just people's lives. Is getting closer to home. Many of us, hear about these things, but more and more people are witnessing them or experiencing them. We've had many in the area that I live in, mass shootings at malls. Um, Not too long ago, I think over the weekend in Baltimore, there was one at a block party, and just the senselessness and the brutality of it all. It seems to be just on the increase and on the rise. We're hearing all kinds of terrible things around the earth. Not much, you don't hear much of the good stuff that's going on. ET's landing in Nevada at one time. You didn't even hear the news take things like this seriously. They would patronize people, or gaslight them when they would talk about, you know, um, UFO sightings or landings. And now you're hearing about it with greater frequency in the news media. So a lot has changed and a lot is changing. And with that change comes tension sometime and difficulty as people strive to adjust to these changes. And like I said, these awakening processes have been rapid and dramatic. And for some people, it's just been a bit unbearable and just uncomfortable. So let's have a dialogue and discussion about what's really happening as we shift. Um, every 26,000 plus years, we go through a big paradigm shift or a big shift in consciousness in the way of thinking. So we're at the beginning of a new 26,000 year period. That's why there's been so much rapid change recently, and it's continuing. It's going to be even more change in more shifting as you move things around. Kind of like when you move from one house to another. You purge and get rid of things. You find things that you didn't even know you still had. You find yourself getting rid of things to make room for the new. um, Letting go of the past, letting go of old memories as you move from one house to another. um, Housekeeping, all of that is going on now on a spiritual, energetic level. There's a lot of letting go and clearing and making room for new things. um, People are talking things that are commonplace now weren't so commonplace in the past, and this is all part of this new cycle of time that we're living in. And each cycle of time is unique. Each 26,000 year period, each whatever you want to call it, each age is different, and different and unique. And we are striving to keep up with it. And as we do that, there are, some growing pains, just like with anything else. And there's some tension. So this change has been going on for several years. It just feels like it's coming to a head now. So the last several years, or the early 2000s, as we were approaching this great awakening, I said in a previous video, that was kind of like the embryonic or pregnancy stage of this great awakening, this great shift in consciousness. And so now we're at the birth stage. And birth can take a long time. Sometimes it's a quick birth. Um, Sometimes the baby needs a little assistance from the mom or the midwife. Sometimes, there's complications in a birth, and it's all for our highest good. And, the baby is coming, the baby is going to be delivered safely and with joy and with ease. We're delivering it. And so that baby that we're delivering is our new cells into this new earth, or our new state of consciousness. All of this is a part of this new birthing process that we're going through. And we're in the birth stages, and the contractions are getting more intense, getting closer together. And staying it's imperative at this time that we really focus on going inward and focus on our spiritual growth and development, so that we can be delivered safely and sound, and we can be the best version of ourselves as the contractions get more intense and more closer together. And we're going to have our new selves. We're rebirthing ourselves. It is imperative that we remain calm as possible during this time, because it's a lot that's going on and that's happening that will challenge your sense of self, or challenge your ability to maintain your balance. And that's okay. I've experienced that as well. And over the years, I have to say, I am proud of myself that I've learned new ways of coping with things that I didn't have these skills. Some of these skills I didn't have 10 or even 15, 20 years ago, but I do now. And we all have to find what works for us, what resonates with us, and ways to stay calm and remain calm at this time. Because fear, we know, can cause us to shut down, is damaging to your immune system. It's also not good for your spiritual abilities and the ability to be able to discern with clarity when you are afraid. So remember that fear has no place with you, that it's an illusion. And so find healthier ways to cope with the coming changes and the changes that are taking place on earth and the changes that are taking place in our lives right now. We want to move away from a space of fear and avoid making decisions out of fear and make decisions more from a place of love within, also from a place of strength and stability and rightness of mind, right thinking. So remain calm, maintain your sense of peace. When you find yourself in situations where your sense of peace or your sense of calmness is being compromised, then have the courage to remove yourself from those places, whether it's a work environment, friends, family, anyone that is compromising your peace and your stability and your well-being and your peace of mind. You have to remove yourself from that. Spend more time in nature. We talked about this before, that it's a wonderful way to maintain peace and calm. When you're feeling scattered or afraid or anxious or nervous or any kind of depressed or any kind of emotion that is not healthy for you, spend more time in nature, and that will help you to maintain balance and maintain calm. Because when you're in a state of duress or stress, you won't make the best possible decisions. And at this time, it is very important to be clear, razor sharp with your focus, and to make sure that you are making the best decisions for yourself, and not feeling confused or scattered or pressured into making choices and decisions that's not for your highest good. So remember to maintain your peace through it all. Um, this time period is being called heaven on earth, the new earth, and many of us are waiting for this heaven to come down, but really the heaven is here. The heaven is within us. We have to tap into that part of us, that higher consciousness within us, that higher state of being, where we can radiate a sense of heaven and maintain that heaven here on earth as we create it for ourselves and for one another. Okay, so the heaven on earth that we're waiting on is coming, but it's coming through us. We have to be the ones to create it. Earth is recalibrating, so we are also receiving a lot of upgrades right now, downloads. The planet is too. The planet is a living being, so is experiencing a lot of what we are going through, and it's awake, and we're all awakening to higher states of consciousness. How we recognize those higher states, or how we accept them as downloads or upgrades or whatever, it just depends on the person. Some people are in a space where it's better for them than others are still feeling a little stress or duress. Hi Dia, welcome sweetheart, welcome to tonight's discussion. So while we're waiting on this heaven, we are the ones that can create it. We have to remember that it's up to us to create it and make it heaven here on earth. People are talking a lot about gun reform, and although guns can be dangerous in the wrong hands, it's really the people that are using them in the wrong manner. And so as long as we have fear and low vibrational things like fear, anger, hatred on the planet, you will always have people that feel like they need these things in order to express themselves, or to make moves and decisions that can be permanent and devastating. Whereas instead of using their minds and their hearts and making decisions from a place of love and um, kindness and peace, choose, we can choose peace over the other low vibrating things. And in our choice of in our decision to choose peace, we will create the heaven on earth that we are looking for. Many of us think that it's going to come down from the clouds, and a Messiah figure is going to come and bring it to us, but we really are the ones that we are looking for, and we are the ones that can make the earth the better place that we want it to be, the place of peace and happiness and love and joy, and and kindness, and just and healthy. We can change all of that. I saw a video not too long ago on Instagram where people were putting nets in rivers and streams to catch pollution. So all the plastic items, all the paper items, and big pieces of garbage that find their way into the water, the nets were capturing them. And then when the nets captured it and when it was full, the people got in the water and cleared the debris and the garbage out of the water. So things like that, we can do. We can plant trees just to keep the air clean and for future generations. There's a lot of wildfires all over the planet. Millions of acres of land has been burned. We can start the process of healing that and healing Mother Earth by planting trees, planting flowers, planting vegetation that will put the nutrients back into the soil and help neutralize the soil after devastating impacts from fires or from mudslides or whatever. There's so much that we can do to make it better. But one thing is, and the main thing is starting with us, and that's choosing peace, peace within. Once we're in a peaceful, happy state, that will radiate out in our decision making and how we talk to and how we treat others. And so that will bring a higher state of consciousness and well-being on the planet. We are like the bringers of the dawn. We must make this new earth. And when I say bringers of the dawn, we are the ones that are the light bringers, the light bearers. We bring forth and hold the light in the darkness to help others find their way. All of us are awakening, but we're all in different degrees of awakening. And so as we awaken and we become more peaceful within, we help shine that light to help others. And um, this is why many of us are shifting in our consciousness and giving up the old way of living, the corporate 9 to 5, the rat race, always being stressed and overwhelmed with debt and financial difficulty and problems, and not being able to cope with problems with within ourselves, but looking outside for external stimuli to solve our problems, either through substance abuse or other methods. And many people are moving away from that lifestyle, or that I would even call that a lifestyle, the old way of living, the death style. We're moving away from it. We're adopting healthier lifestyles, with our eating, with the way we think, with the way we live, the way we problem solve. Many of us, the home has now become the new office. Many people gave up the old paradigm, where you had to work for someone else until you retire, and retiring and, becoming homesteaders now, or pursuing things that satisfies their soul and makes them happy. And in doing that, it not only does it help them, but it helps those around them. I know someone who had a difficult job a few years ago, and she ended up making a complaint towards her supervisor who was mistreating her, and they fired her. And shortly after that, she was offered a job working with climate justice and environmental justice, and she loves it, and that's what she's been doing since I think 2017 or 18. So not only did she get something new for herself that makes her happy and brings satisfaction to her soul, but she's helping other people in the process as we work with environmental justice and climate justice, and other other social justice issues. So as we make a choice to do something different, or when we choose peace, not only will it affect us, but it will affect others around us. So do you, if we don't have any questions this evening, I hope that this topic was very helpful and useful for everyone. Please share with me in the comments below how this awakening process is, how you're doing through this process, and how what are some ways that you would like to benefit and change the new earth that we are creating. So I hope this was helpful. I enjoy each and every week meeting with you all. Peace and love. Have a great rest of your week, and may you be surrounded by love, peace, and happiness. Till next time.